People often ask me about the man behind the mask. What if there is no longer a man behind the mask? The mask is just a shackle that I will be free of soon enough. A few of the folks pictured in this video have already joined us. The rest will do the same soon. Enjoy the 2023 Cold Nights Halloween Special.
What's going on, everyone? It's the Mad Belmont here, and thank you so much to Jay for bringing me on for this video. I greatly appreciate it, dude. Now, usually, I like to talk a lot about Castlevania, but I'm not doing that in this video. No. In this video, right here, right now, what I'm going to be doing is I'm going to be talking about a game called Alone in the Dark. That's right, the granddaddy of survival horror itself from 1992, an MS-DOS game, okay? And what this game is if you've ever played Resident Evil or Silent Hill, it's got that same kind of, walk around in a certain location, okay? I'm going to use Resident Evil as an example. It's just walk around in a mansion, okay? Get items to unlock certain doors in certain areas, get limited resources, and then you've got to debate, is it okay for me to use it here? Should I use it here? It's got that typical survival horror gameplay loop, but it was the first of its kind back in 1992, okay? And so, this game is a little rough around the edges. It's very rough around the edges. Everything feels like it's going in slow motion. Because, like I said, it was the first of its kind. So, there's gonna be some things that are kind of rough about it. Like, when you go to ready the weapon, it's like, okay, think of it like this. You're sitting there, you're about to shoot. That's how long it takes you to pull the weapon up. I'm not even kidding, okay? So, this is a game that is very rough around the edges, but if you can get around it, you are going to find a game that has some of the most lonely, dreary atmosphere, and you see some really supernatural things in this game, okay? It has a very Lovecraftian theme to it, okay? Very inspired by Lovecraft, which is the epitome of the occult. So, that is going to be my entry for this video. Thank you again to Jay for having me on, and I'll see you in the next one, Belmont.
Great video, Belmont. But I promise you, you're never alone in the dark. Next video.
You are going to participate in a game. The memory game. It is a game
where you will put your life on the line. That was weird. So it looks like I've been brought here today to share a game that I'd recommend for the Halloween season. With that in mind, I can't resist taking the opportunity to share one of my favorite games of all time, which is 9 Hours, 9 Persons, 9 Doors for the Nintendo DS. 999 is an extremely suspenseful visual novel that incorporates escape room-style puzzles. The story goes like this. 9 people have been abducted by a person in a gas mask who calls themselves Zero, and have been placed onto an abandoned passenger liner that is beginning to sink. Zero brought them here to participate in something called the Nonary game. The objective of the game is for the players to survive long enough to find a door marked with the number 9, which has been hidden somewhere deep within the ship. This door is their ticket to freedom, and they have 9 hours to find it and escape before the ship sinks completely. Now the ship is full of numbered doors, and behind each of them is an escape room. While seeking a way out of these rooms, the characters will have a chance to search for clues about Zero's true identity and motives, and find keycards that will allow them to gain access to other areas of the ship. Now there's a very specific system that determines who can pass through what doors and the process by which they unlock. Each player has been equipped with a uniquely numbered bracelet, which is used as both an ID as well as an authentication device to ensure that these rules are being followed. They're very strict, and the consequences for breaking them are fatal. Because these bracelets aren't just keys, they're also detonators. While they were unconscious, Zero placed a bomb in each of their stomachs, and if someone breaks one of the game's rules while passing through a numbered door, that bomb will detonate. So that's the setup of 999. It's definitely more of a psychological thriller than a jump scare horror. The writing is brilliant, and it's full of very vivid, gritty text that describes some of the more macabre events in gruesome detail. The soundtrack is also fantastic, and really adds to that uncomfortable, anxious atmosphere that Zero has created. But the thing that really stands out about 999 is its expertly woven narrative. The true ending tells a surprisingly heartbreaking and haunting story that has really stayed with me over the years and become one of my favorites of all time. Now, I'll always recommend the original DS version of 999, but there is also a remaster available as part of the Nonary Games bundle, and that's available on PS Vita, PS4, and Steam. The DS version has a very unique twist that's incorporated into the plot in a really creative way, so for a more authentic experience, I think that's definitely the way to go, but you can still have a lot of fun with the remaster too. I think 999 is a beautiful and haunting tale that would be perfect to dive into this Halloween. So, that's my pick.
Mandy has joined us now. Thank you for your sacrifice.
Hey everyone, my name is Allie from Allie in Wonderland. Jay from Cold Knights Gaming has invited me today to recommend a game for Halloween 2023. For gamers who are like me, afraid of 3D games because they send chills down your spine, I got a game that is both terrifying and cute at the same time. The game that I recommend this Halloween is called Pocket Mirror Goldener Trom. Take Puella Magi Madoka Magica, mix it with Sanrio, and you get this adorable Alice in Wonderland inspired RPG puzzle horror game. This game follows the story of a girl who lost her memories and she cannot figure out her name. She wakes up in this beautiful castle and it looks like this game is just something from a fairy tale, but eventually you find many strange and horrific items scattered around, and then you will realize this game isn't as wholesome as it looks. However, the visual graphics are gorgeous and the details put into each room are spectacular. You have magical pumpkins scattered around each area you can talk to, and the decor of each room brings you the Halloween vibe. The game does a very good job portraying symbolistic elements from Alice in Wonderland, and exploring each area literally takes you through the rabbit hole. There is some blood and gore, some spooky elements, and chase scenes that will make your hands sweat, but just concentrate on the adorable chibi characters and you should be okay, I think. With small puzzles, story, dialogue, and chase scenes, this game really brings you a bizarre experience of a horror game. Don't let the cuteness fool you. Pocket Mirror has multiple endings with around 11 hours of gameplay, giving you the perfect game to play this Hallows Eve. I hope that you guys got a gist of what the game is about. Definitely give it a try. It's worth it. It was so much fun for me to play this month, especially since Halloween is around the corner. And I know that since it's a short game, it's the perfect choice to play on Halloween night. Let me know if you guys pick it up. Let me know in the comments below if you've already played it. Jay, thank you so much for having me on your channel as always. And happy Halloween, guys.
Great video, Ellie. You'll fit right in.
Hello, friends. This is from Just the Gems. Are you well? Well, are you? I want to thank Haunter for inviting me on to share my experiences with this particular game. It's called Haunting Ground. What is Haunting Ground? It may have evolved from a discarded idea for a Resident Evil game, but it is very much its own thing. You are Fiona, a young woman who awakens in a cage, much like you can expect to when I come to visit you very soon. She escapes quite easily, but she quickly learns there are machinations afoot she cannot begin to fathom. Pursued relentlessly through an enormous castle by horrifying humans and evil spirits, Fiona must use all of her wits and her lovely canine friend Huey to survive. Animations are smooth, the characters look deliciously human. One of the key features of Haunting Ground are the chases. After all, if you're going to name your game a terrible hunting pun, you better make me feel like the prey. For a change. When you're being pursued by one of the castle's denizens, you are relatively defenseless. You can kick and you can tackle, but neither move is very effective, and they wear poor Fiona out very quickly. Your best bet is to hide. Hiding spaces aplenty in a castle of this size. Your other option is to ask your good friend Huey for help. He's a faithful mutt, and he'll throw himself at any monstrosity that dares to come between you and him. And yes, you can pet the dog. It's a non-stop, tension-filled nightmare. At any moment, one of your pursuers could find you. And in that moment, you'll find yourself faced with very limited options. As the plot unfolds, Fiona finds herself falling deeper and deeper into the insanity of this castle and its twisted inhabitants. Can she even achieve a happy ending after everything she's been through? My money's on no. And speaking of money, this one costs a lot of it. More than $300. I hope you've been saving your nickels, but it's worth every blood-red cent. Now, if you'll excuse me, I have an appointment with a nice couple who lives next door. They don't know I'm coming. Oh, what a surprise it will be. Goodbye.
What a haunting pick. Brandon has joined us. Thank you for your sacrifice.
Hi, it's Emily, aka Orbaology, and thanks so much, Jay, for having me on your Halloween special again. Now, I'm not one who plays a lot of horror games or scary games in general. There's no real reason why that is. I just never really gravitated towards the horror genre. But the one game that I played this year that had some rather terrifying moments was none other than Stray. In Stray, you play as a cat that gets separated from their family, and you go on exploring this long-lasting city underground, and you have to find a way to escape and go back to the surface level. I'm not going to dive too deeply into details in case someone hasn't played these games, but there's this one particular enemy that I just found super terrifying, especially when you have segments where you have to constantly run away from them. What's really scary about them is whenever they attach to you in mass, they just kind of take over your entire body surface as the cat and suck out its blood, and if you're not able to shake them off in time, you inevitably die. While Zurks in and of themselves are terrifying creatures, what really drove me on edge just almost the entire time I was playing Stray was the chase scenes. And I definitely do not do well with chase scenes, which may be why I kind of avoid the horror genre as a whole. But there are multiple segments where you have to actively run away from these creatures, and you have to maneuver in these very tight-knit quarters. And just always whenever I was playing those segments, my blood was pumping and I was just gripping my controller super hard, and I just really wanted that segment to end, just so that I could go back to kind of the cute side of Stray. There's so many charming parts in Stray that kind of these more horror-filled segments, I guess, brought a good contrast to it and definitely kept you on the edge of your seat. But overall, I really did love Stray, if you haven't had a chance to play it yet, and I thought the mix of horror elements that they brought into it just really energized the experience of this more exploration type of indie title. It brought an interesting facet to this more dystopian sort of future that was depicted throughout the game.
Great pick, Emily. It really strays from the beaten path. But a dystopian future. I like that idea.
Hey guys, Jay here. Well, I was originally going to pick Rule of Rose, but I decided I had to go with the best survival horror game ever made. And we all know that's Silent Hill 2.
James, honey, did something happen to you? After we got separated in that long hallway? Are you confusing me with someone else?
When Silent Hill 2 released in September 2001, none of us were ready for the caliber of experience the game would offer. I assume most people who dove right in had played or were at least familiar with the first entry in the series. They knew about the clinging fog and the dark and unnerving atmosphere of the world. From the moment we set foot down that nearly zero visibility trail into Silent Hill, we knew we were in for something on a whole other level. Coming across the first straitjacket monster, meeting the distant and anxious Angela, James sharing the story of his recently deceased wife, Mary, and the letter he received calling him back to their special place. Exploring those dark, anxiety-inducing halls of the Woodside Apartments. Here we first meet Pyramid Head, staring at us silent and still from behind a gate. Then later performing what seems to be horrible deeds on one of the many monsters in this world. Shortly after we meet Eddie, a deranged, psychotic killer in denial of his actions or their consequences. Once on the other side of the apartments, we meet Maria. She is a spitting image of his wife. He asks her and himself numerous times if she is Mary. She coyly says no, but we know something is amiss. The themes Silent Hill 2 deals with are extreme. Murder, loneliness, bullying, self-termination, SA, and worse sexual crimes. But most of all, Silent Hill is about guilt. Guilt for what we inevitably find out James did to Mary. The guilt of the lives Eddie took. Angela's PTSD and survivor's guilt. The little girl Laura, who knew Mary as she was dying in the hospital of that terrible disease, even serves as a constant reminder of James's guilt. Pyramid Head, suspiciously similar to the executioners of yore seen in the paintings in the Historical Society, is the arbiter of James's guilt. It will be an unforgettable journey unpeeling the many tragic layers to the story and characters contained in this masterpiece. The ambiance and atmosphere, one of the most incredible soundtracks ever put together for a game by the acclaimed Akira Yamaoka, and graphics that still hold up well to this day, make this a must-play for the lead up to Halloween. I thank you for tuning into our special. I must go now, though. The changing is upon us.